Hello, everyone. Susan Gerbeck here. Um, um, what a great way of starting off a video. I have about 30 minutes before I have to start another Zoom call, a meeting. So I'm going to try to do this fast. So I thought I'll wait until after the meeting. And then I thought, no, I'll do it before because that way I have a limit. I can't go for an hour and a half. So the question has been asked, what's up with this Chetsford Wikipedia editor? What's his deal? Why does he keep putting up all these articles on UFOs for deletion? And then I hear excuses, not excuses, but really well formed statements and reasoning why that's a bad thing to try to erase UFO history. And, these people are not around to be able to protect themselves anymore, and that we shouldn't be getting rid of that. All wonderful statements. And yeah, that's true. That it feels like a huge attack on people who are no longer able to defend themselves. Not like they could have defended themselves anyway. They can't write these Wikipedia pages, or probably don't know, that great with technology to be able to deal with that. They I am a social historian. I mean, by college. Not that I actually ever did much with it, except that I do believe Wikipedia is a giant historical social experiment, and keeping this information on Wikipedia is absolutely for the best. And so I am 100% behind, let's preserve the Wikipedia articles we can, and so on. Um, and Chetsford does seem like he is going in and doing a lot of editing to Wikipedia pages that are UFO related. I don't know Chetsford other than a few months ago, somebody tagging me on Twitter and bringing him to my attention. And now I guess we might have acted a little bit on Wikipedia, but I don't know who he is. In my mind, he's British. I don't know that. In my mind, he's male. He's British. I know that's just my mind. I don't know who he is, or even if it's a he, or if he's British or anything like that. Wikipedia editors are anonymous, except for me and a handful of other people who choose to use their real name. Okay. So I'm looking at this and I'm going through now. Every edit on Wikipedia is public. So we can look at his Wikipedia editing history. And I don't like to call out to specific editors. It just seems like, I mean, that's not the goal of Wikipedia, is to figure out who it is who's editing Wikipedia articles and who is behind it. I mean, I guess it sounds like a conspiracy theory that there's some they behind it all. And yeah, I get it. People don't like GSOW, my Wikipedia project, because we seem like a they. I don't know how to break this to you, but we're all volunteers, and volunteers are extremely busy with other things in their lives, or they're just chilling and they don't really have the uh I mean, we're not sitting there, there's no financial advantage. We're just doing this because this is something we enjoy. Okay. Let's see. I'm getting some messages. All right. Okay. Nothing new. All right. Let's take a look at some of these articles. And I just, like I said, I don't have a lot of time. I wanted to go through a few. Let's see where to start. Now, why is he picking on the UFO topic? Well, I don't know. I don't know him. And is he really picking on the UFO topic? Because I don't know that. I was looking through his edit history, and I'm not going to put it up on the screen. I have it right here in front of me, but I was thinking of doing that, and I thought that's too weird and too stocky like. And besides, if you want to see his edit history, go look at his edit history. And so I'm going through it, and he does seem to be very interested in deletions. Now that is a just a editor choice. That's a thing that that editors tend to do, is they kind of gravitate to an area that they find interesting, and that's their area of interest. And I I don't like to go through deletion discussions. I mean, that's not my thing. I love stubs, pages that are stubs, and trying to improve that stub to being a really nice article. So I feel like he's hit on this idea of putting up the article for deletion forces a large crew of people to come over and go, oh no, we can't have that deleted. I must improve it. And then, you got like this feeling like this ticking bomb going off. We got a week, we got 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, we better hurry up and get it done. And then it gets done. And that's a pattern I've seen Chetsford doing. I think it's clever, but it's not my path. I'm more of a, hey, I'll just do it myself. Of course, it's stumbling and takes forever to wait for me to rewrite a Wikipedia article. I don't like getting involved in these deletion discussions or rewrites, because it's like how do I explain it? You have a lot of different editors coming in and they're editing, and then somebody comes in and edits it this way, and the tone is off. When you try to read it from top to bottom, it doesn't feel like it was one voice that went through and wrote it with one giant swath of editing. That's how I edit. That's how I teach my team to edit. I like the whole thing to just feel like it flows, and you remember that you had something up here, and then you remember something down here, and then you like might remove something because you've mentioned it twice. But whenever you've got multiple editors writing a Wikipedia article, but they're not talking to each other necessarily, they're just making edits, it just feels like something is inserted and then something else is inserted over here. And maybe they kind of alluded to it up here, but now they're finishing the thought way down lower in the article. I think just one person should do it. I think that's the way it should be done. But I'm not in charge. So, and getting these articles written is kind of the priority. All right. So let's look. We looked at who was the other one I was just doing? We talked about. It was a woman. I've forgotten already. That was another previous video. You can check it out. So, oh, the other thing I want to say is that there are deletion discussions that you can subscribe to, being a Wikipedia editor. And all you do is you follow deletion discussions. So if something's being put up for AFD, which is article for deletion, you just see this article of just URLs, and you just go down the list and you can pick off whatever you want, and you can see what it is there that is up for deletion. Now, they even have them in categories. So, like European writers of the 20th century, or French poets, or, football players, or deletion discussions for cryptids, or there's deletion discussions for all kinds of things. So you can subscribe on as a Wikipedia editor, so that every time there's a change made to that deletion discussion, that forum, you'll be notified. And if you feel like, oh, I've got a few hours today, I think I'm going to go and edit, you just go over to your list and you click on it, and then you find what you're going to find. And if you want to be interested in editing that page further, you can. Editors, there's thousands of editors out there, and they all have different topics, all different kinds of ideas of what they want to edit. And it's I'm not going to edit a Wikipedia article on a French poet. No way. But I am interested in the paranormal. I'm interested in science, and I will edit those kinds of things. I'm also interested in history, but most Wikipedia pages on history, unless it's very specialized, are already probably well written. All right, where do I start with you guys? So here is, yeah, I can show you this. Here is a deletion discussion sorting, and this is kind of an idea of what we're talking about. So this is a project. Now, I think Wikipedia is overly wordy, and I think a lot of these things can be summed up much easier but yet they like to use, 10 words for every one. This is a project, I believe, and they're describing it. And what it is they're trying to say we should be putting all the deletion discussions into a way for people to find them based on the topic. I think that's what it's saying. So it's telling you all the different codes you can use to find to make it so that an article appears on there. And then they have different editors who are participating. And oh my gosh, it's going back to 2005. And I didn't see Chetsford on here recently, unless he's on here and I didn't even notice. I didn't really look. It's not important. This is just a discussion about making deletions more easy to find, articles that are under deletion. Okay. So what I want to show you, articles, and another one. Started pulling up all these tags and I said it'll be easier to explain it if I just pull up, here it is. If I pull up a little bit more pages for you guys to understand. Okay, let's try this one. Now, this might make a little sense. What you're looking at is a category for ufologists. Now, there are categories for freaking everything. Categories for states, categories for flowers, categories for rocks, categories for 1960s sitcoms in Russia. I mean, there's a category for everything. So this is a category for ufologists, only the people. And what you can see the categories for followers of ufology. And anybody can follow these things. You have to have an account and you just say, I want to follow them by putting a little star, or you can, I think there's a way of subscribing to some of these. And this is saying there's 132 pages in this category. And these are different people who are UFOologists that are notable. In other words, they have a Wikipedia article somewhere, and I didn't find it because I was kind of in a hurry. I think there might be a UFOlogy stub, or I know there's a paranormal stub, and I know people are out there freaking out. What? How dare she call it UFOlogy a stub? Well, that's the way it's listed in Wikipedia. So these are categories at the bottom of each Wikipedia page. You'll find these things here. These are generated by people who think that the category should be on here. And there are people who spend all their time on Wikipedia just dealing with categories. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but people have fascinations with lists. And I think that Wikipedians really are the type of person who likes to make lists, very detailed lists. That's my experience with these editors. So there are people who that's their whole thing, is just categories. And they'll have discussions about the categories. Well, should it be this category? Should it be that? Oh, I think we should rename this category because it should be this category. And maybe we should, oh my God, people. But that's the world. And this happens in all languages too. Each language of Wikipedia has their own infrastructure working behind scenes like this. All right, let's go back to this as I said that. Made me think about it. So categories. People associated with ufology, advocates of pseudoscience, and then here's some hidden categories. Okay, so like if you click on any of these, here's Gabriel Green. Well, I'm going to just mouse over it and you can see who they are. These look like they're older people, people who we don't have clear photos of, and so on. Some of these might be stubs. Here's that Ginny Randall's. That's the one I was working on last night, and I made a video on. So some of these might be stubs. Some of these might not. All right, so let's click on followers of ufology. Oh, this is just the tag thing. Let's look down at the bottom and see if there's anything of interest down here. Oh, this is a long page. Categories, ufology. What does this say? Wow, look at this. And there's people who write this. That's all they do, is they spend their time working on these little boxes here. Do you see anything that says stubs? No, I don't. Okay, so let's go back and let me see if I can find a stub. Let me do that off screen so that you don't have to sit there watching me struggle. I'm supposed to be an expert and all that, right? Boy, are you guys going to be surprised to find out that I'm not. I can't even spell the word stub. I'm gonna look at my category, my clock. Okay, we're all right. All right, so if you follow what I'm saying up here, you can find these yourself. So you go up into the where it says search Wikipedia and you type in the word category colon, and then you can type in whatever you want down here. And this is going to get you kind of to the back pages of Wikipedia. And if you type in some category stubs, you should you should be getting all the stubs. These are pages that people have seen and said, "Oh my gosh, this is a stub," and they put a template on there that says stub, and it makes it onto this list. So yeah, I'm using paranormal. There's astrology. There's 56 pages in astrology. There's 6 in cryptozoology, 22 in parapsychology, and these are the templates you use if you find a Wikipedia article that is a stub, and then these are the ones that are listed in here. Stub category, science stubs, occult stubs, hidden category. Okay, I'm curious about this. Let me click on these just for okay, just so you can see how many stubs. This is how much work that needs to be done out there. I'm telling you, people, you got to get yourself so that you can edit Wikipedia correctly. These are stub categories. Most wanted stubs, incomplete lists, stubs. So there's a lot. Stub categories needing attention, all kinds of codes. Look at 19th century painting stubs. There's 10. And what is that? 10 columns. Oh, yeah. And then within each. So these are all stubs for Wikipedia pages for the 19th century painting stubs. Woman reading. Okay, so this is a stub. So at the bottom of the page, see, they put this template, the category for stub, and then they also put on here that it's a stub. And I think it's on the talk page as well. They put, see it, sometimes they put stub back in here as well. And what that means is somebody needs to get over here and write this Wikipedia article about this image, this painting. That's what a stub is like putting it on a list, because as I said, Wikipedia editors love lists. People in the 1920s that are born in the 1920s that have stubs. Look at how many these are. Is this all of them? Well, these are categories. See here, it goes into the categories of all the different things. So my point is, I don't know why Chetsford has selected UFOs as being his area. I don't know him. I did a whole lot of rewrites of stubs in archaeology. It was fascinating, but you don't know how people pick on things. Maybe his interest is ufology. Maybe it's just he likes to start with the letters of the alphabet that are at the end of the alphabet, work his way forward. I don't know. So these are paranormal stubs that are. Oh, let's go. I'm sorry, I'm not sharing. I mean, you could go through these and you can see UFO World Day, World Contact Day. What is that? I don't know. First declared March 1953. And this is a stub. See? Paranormal stubs. So somebody should come through and completely give this page a rewrite. Or if all of this here, they could go through each one of these citations and they could say, this article is not notable. Now, it's a day, it's not a human person. So a human person has a different standard of notability than a day would, or a book would, or a geographical place. There's different rules for different kinds of things, but people have to have, it's a very high standard for people, as I've gone over in some of the other some of the other videos I've made. This is UFO Seeing is Believing. Is this a book or a movie? It's a DVD, so I guess it's a movie. All these red links shouldn't be here. These are people they've tried to hyperlink to something incorrectly, or they've tried to hyperlink to something that does not have a Wikipedia article. I don't like them. I think they look visually ugly. I think we should remove all of the brackets on these and make them black font so it just looks readable. This is a stub. A scientific documentary film is a stub. So there's one reference. See how it says one reference. So this article, if I was Chetsford and I really wanted to, I could put this up for deletion. I could say, all right, I'd go over here to Twinkle TW, and I'd select which of these fits, and then I'd make my argument, and it would go in and would put the article up for deletion, and then I have to notify all of the categories of people who would be interested in this being on there. Like, I guess I would notify United States documentary people. There's categories, there's people who just follow that. TV shows or UFOs, paranormal. I would have to like send out notifications, and it's not hard. You just fill out a little blank area and it just automatically, everything's automated, and it would notify all these groups of people that this article is up for deletion. And it only has, like I said, one citation, and it's going right back to the article, going right back to the documentary. So this is probably not notable. I could put that up for deletion right away. And what would happen is people on Twitter would be like, "Oh my God, she tried to delete everything." It's like, well, hello, if it doesn't have, I mean, it's here, but we want everything to be here to be quality and have the back and have evidence proving that it should be here. So I think that just somebody spent some time on this, we could get this in shape. And that's the thing about what Chetsford, in my opinion, Chetsford is doing. As I said, I don't know this man, but I do know that so far it's been working. This guy, Chetsford's going in and deleting all these articles for notability. In other words, they don't have enough citations on him that prove that the human being, because he's picking humans, have the notability to even be on Wikipedia. And yes, they're old people who, some of them have died, or people in their 80s and 90s years old. And it feels like an attack on them because it's been so long, because their fame was back when they were in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, probably. And so the citations that exist are into newspapers and old articles that may not be preserved, encyclopedias and things like that. These aren't recent human beings who are doing their major work in the 2025. So it takes a little more work to go in and find these citations. And these articles have been in existence probably since 2005, 2006. And Wikipedia didn't have as many standards then. And I'm going to show you one example that came in a list, the person who posed this question to me, the person who posed the question to me gave me a list of some of the things that Chetsford has been deleting, putting up for deletion. And so I just clicked on one. Here is the Wikipedia article that was put up for deletion. Make sure I have the right screen open here. My goodness. Bruce Leonard Cathy, Kathe. Ignore this yellow stuff here. This is telling you it's an old page. So this is what the article looked like when Chetsford went in and said he wanted this deleted. So this is what it looked like. This person has written some books. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 citations. Are the citations good? I don't know. I have spent a whole 2 minutes looking at this. I gotta hurry up. And this is what he saw, and he said, okay, this article needs to be deleted. So he filled out the paperwork metaphorically, clicked the buttons that made it to be a deletion. And then what happened is, the pattern is, there's a discussion, and let me show you the discussion. It's you can find it. It's the link is there. Okay, here's the article for deletion for Bruce. And the article was voted on keeping. And I say voted, but it doesn't really mean voted in the way like everybody's vote is equal. It's about the discussion and how what is your quality of the discussion. I see Chetsford, here he is right here, Chetsford. I see him as being a person who puts these things up for deletion. People run over frantically and they improve the article. And it's just kind of a way of saying, we've got 2 weeks to get, and I'm saying 2 weeks, but there is no actual date. But generally, it's about 10 days, 2 weeks. It feels like he's saying, we've got 2 weeks to rewrite this article or else. And it goes on all of these areas, and people go, okay, we run over and do it. So this is the article. This is the argument he makes. And then you can see it's been included in the deletion sorting list for the following topics: authors, aviation, New Zealand, deletion sorting list. That's what we were talking about earlier, where there are lists made just for deletion discussion. So people can know if a article in the area that they find interesting, that they follow, is up for deletion. That's what it's for. All right, so this first person named Oak Tree says it's a keep, and then came back and wrote something else. And then this is Chetsford. Okay, the New Zealand Herald obit is the same one I mentioned in the original post. While it's a start, I think we need more than that. This book has 10,000 sentences and mentions Cathian too, which I don't think meets the spirit of significant coverage. Do you see right away the tone that Chetsford is taking? He's taking a let's fix this page, not a no, I'm sorry. I'm crossing my arms and I am going to put my foot down and we're going to remove this page. Do you see kind of the tone difference? He's being stern. He's an admin and he's heard every argument. And it's probably very annoying talking to people at times. And it is a text format. So when you're texting people, which is why I want to make a video to explain things to you guys instead of texting this to you, it gets lost in the tone. So if we go through this, and I'm not going to right now, it's a discussion. And yeah, the same people keep showing up. Oxford, we saw him in the other one. Here's Parkney again, Chetsford again. And it tends to be a group of people who follow this subject because they're the ones getting the alerts. And so we come down to it. Here's Berlin again. Here's a very polite person again. I don't know these people. I just know them because I read these talk pages and deletion discussions for some reason. All right. Keep for above, the sourcing is sufficient. This is indefensible. Who is, I don't know who that is. All right. So the above discussion is preserved as an archive of the debate. Do not modify it. See, it's why it's light purple. Anybody who's colorblind out there, this has got a light color to it that you can't come in here and edit this. All right. So the result was keep. This is Stifel. Stifel is a administrator. Oh, Cabal approved. Wikipedia editors have such a funny sense of humor, and I have Cabal approved, I think, on mine as well. So this is a Wikipedia administrator, and what they do is their skill or their interest is closing delete discussions, and they probably don't have anything to do with the topic. They know nothing about the topic other than just, a working cursory knowledge of ufology. And really, when you think about it, it's not about ufology. It's about Bruce Cathy. We're talking about a deletion discussion about a biography of a living human being. So it's different than a lot of them might fall into this category of ufology, but that's probably because that's what Chetsford follows. Now let's be fair. I want to show you what the Wikipedia article looks like for Bruce Cathy. First, I'm going to show you what it looks like, remind you what it looked like before. before the deletion discussion. Here it is. See? And it had 5 citations, and this is what it looked like. Now, if we go back and we look at, and I'll click on read, this is what it looks like now. They've managed to find an old photo of him talking in a microphone, probably from a newspaper, because rules are very strict for photos. So you can take them from a newspaper, but they're always going to be a low resolution image like this. Now, here's what it looks like. Big, huge freaking difference. And this is what happened when Chetsford put it up for, oh, I hate that. Put it up for deletion. Look, got 13 citations. Very, very nice. This is what happened. So I mean, I understand it looks pretty scary that these people keep getting these deletions and they're going to get deleted. But it's, if you don't really follow the story, you don't really understand what's going on. Is some, I mean, they need to be looked at. These are old pages that need to be improved, or we're going to lose this history. So I want to preserve the history also, but the only way we're going to have that is if we improve them. And if you're not going to help, then it puts it all on me, and I just don't have that kind of time. I'm making, well, I do, but obviously I've got to get off this in a minute. I'm going to show you another one really quick. I'm trying to find the link because I didn't have this ready. So sorry. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, by the way. Okay. So this is an article, and I'm looking at this kind of for the first time, so I don't know what I'm going to see. This is for Harvey Rutledge, and I assume this is a UFOologist person, or that's what I picked up. So I'm looking at the edit history. That's this right here. And I've come down here and I found Chetsford's name, September 9th to 2025, nominated for deletion. All right, so I'm going to click on the article right before Chetsford made an edit. And this is what it looked like. Okay, 80-year-old, 2 references. That's it. What is this? Smithsonian? That's not even an article. So I don't know what this is. This is from 2007, retrieved in 2023. So this was the Wikipedia article that does not, UFOologist, this does not meet the standards of Wikipedia. This is not proof that this article deserves to be on Wikipedia for a living person. So it should be deleted. All right. Now, as I said, Chetsford's is the type that's going to say, let's delete this. And then people have to stick up and stand up and come and show up and repair it. I'm the type that would just say, oh, okay, I'll get to that. And I would rewrite it myself. That's just a difference in how we do things. So let's see what it looks like now. If I click on read, this is what it looks like now. So he put it up for deletion. It has 11 citations, which is barely much, but it's enough to hold this page and to keep it probably forever. So now it's in really good shape, but it wasn't in good shape beforehand. Let's see if I have the deletion discussion handy. Yeah, here it is for this article. Okay, I have 5 minutes. All right, articles for deletion, Harvey Rutledge, and then you can see that Chetsford put it up for deletion discussion on the 9th of the 9th of here. Wow, that was yesterday. I'm recording this on the 10th. So he put this up and it says here, the result was keep Dave Epstein, who's another, I believe it's another administrator. You just mouse over it and it gives you this. You guys all know that. So it took 1 day for this to be resolved. Wouldn't pass notability for academics. Ufology is a bit different. One source isn't enough. These people are spending, hours or maybe minutes, we don't know, trying to look for sources. So when I hear people say, how come they didn't find this? It's like, look, we're not paid for this. We have, a lot of people have jobs and other responsibilities. So get your ass over there and find it yourself. Is kind of how I think about it. Here is keep plenty of significant coverage on newspapers.com from this MCE 89. Great work. I limited it to 1980 forward. Obviously, I missed those, Chetsford said. Again, this is a person who's really trying to improve these Wikipedia pages. I mean, come on. So then they went through it, strong keep. And I love this comment right here. This is from Very Polite Person who says, that with Chetbert's confirmed 2 reliable sources gives us 7 total with mine. As usual, with this class of articles, no one simply bothered to write it. And I think that is saying everything is that with this class of articles, which are older, forgotten UFOologists whose work was done in the 60s, 70s, way before the internet, that they have been abandoned and forgotten. And then somebody on Twitter says, oh my God, somebody's trying to rewrite the history of ufology and trying to get rid of it. And they want to erase UFOlogy. That's what we hear from Twitter and Reddit. But the truth is, we're trying to preserve it. And the people who are yelling the loudest about it, some of you are helping out and you've been giving me, citations because I don't have time to go look for those. And some of you are helping out. And some of you are the problem and just screaming at the top of your lungs, blaming people, blaming me and my team. We're trying to help. And if you don't think that you want to help, and if you don't want to be part of the conversation, you just want to be one of these people's like, they, well, just get out of the room. You're not helping. So if you really want to help, learn how to edit Wikipedia correctly. Understand the citations, understand the sources. You can go through all my videos if you want. Yeah, they're rambling. Yeah, it's me. I mean, that must be annoying. Some people can't stand the way I talk, but I'm sorry. I'm trying to explain and I don't have a script and I'm just trying to show you. Oh, one last thing. I was just going through his Chetsford's nominations of things that work he's done. And I found this I'm like, I don't know who these people are. So I just was clicking at them. And here you can see articles for deletion. This is for somebody named Ben Higgins. Never heard of him. Neither have I. But it turns out, so Chetford went in here and he said delete. This is a guy who was on Bachelorette American TV series season 11 and became a main character. So somebody tried to write a Wikipedia article for this guy and it was voted as delete. There's whole categories of bachelors and bachelorettes and TV sitcoms and all kinds of reality shows. Oh my God. But anyway, I just saw that on here. I thought, well, Chetsford is not only interested in UFOlogy, but I think, and I was looking, like I said, I just looked through it quickly, and there's hundreds, if not thousands, of edits that Chetsford has made, and there's a lot of deletion discussions. I just think this guy is just interested in cleaning off Wikipedia, anything that shouldn't be there, and if it should be there, then let's get it up to speed in the best shape possible as quickly as possible. And it's just the format that he's used. I train a team of people to learn how to do it, but it's time consuming because you got to train these people. Plus you got to get them interested and you got to, they have lives. And the only way this is going to get done, I think in this guy's case, is just saying, I'm going to delete it if you don't clean this up. I think that's really his whole attitude. If you don't clean this up, it's deleted. If you don't pick your toys up off the floor, I'm throwing them away. That kind of sums it up too. And then here comes the person saying, oh my gosh, no, seriously, I was just playing with those just like 2 days ago. They're walking on Legos on the floor and the parents irritated. Well, I don't blame them. It's about time these things get cleaned up. So I don't know the motivation of Chetsford. I don't understand. I'm not psychic. Nobody is. But I hope this helps a little bit to give you some idea of what my thoughts are that's going on. I just don't know. And yeah, he probably gets a little irritated. There was a little spat somebody asked me about. Why is it that somebody gave him like 10 citations on articles for deletion? And Chetford said, I just picked 3 at random, and these aren't going to work. These are not reliable coverage. These are just brief mentions of the person's work, and that's not enough. And then the person wrote to me and said, well, why didn't Chetsford go through all 10 of those citations? And it's like, because Chetsford's busy himself. And if the person's throwing out 10 citations, well, then do the freaking work and go through each citation yourself and make the improvements to the article with those 10. Don't just come up with 10 sites and say, here, you do the work, Chetsford. I mean, because that's what I think is going on. And that's irritating because he's got other pages to delete. Well, actually, I haven't seen one deleted yet that he started the deletion discussion. I mean, there might be some because some people's articles are on Wikipedia and they don't have the sourcing to prove that they're notable. That's just the way it is. Thanks for staying with me. If you have any comments, please let me know. If you have other questions you want me to address, I will be happy to do that. And I am in time. Oops, I'm running overtime. Take care, everyone.